Hi there, this is Jo Zuleika, and I'm founder of the Facebook group Women Who Lead with Heart. I'm coming on live tonight because our topic of the week is how to develop your inner badass. Because who doesn't need a little more of that? The whole notion of this is sometimes standing up as a leader is hard. Sometimes putting yourself out there can feel risky and lonely. And sometimes it can feel like a little bewildering and super vulnerable. It doesn't even have to be like if you identify as a leader. It can just be like just being a person, just being out there in the world can feel exposing. So we can experience things like risking being disliked, risking disappointing people, risking exposing our competence to critique, like whether or not people will think that we're smart enough or good enough or capable enough. And it can be something where you sort of wonder about your significance. You wonder if you're making a difference. You wonder if you're making an impact. It just can be sort of like bewildering and lonely. And sometimes you wonder how to keep on keeping on. So what you want is you want some internal badassery working for you that feels like backbone, that feels like focus, that feels like clarity, that feels like I got this, that feels like I can handle what comes to me. And that's sort of the opposite of the wimbly wombly feeling of feeling sort of insecure or wondering how you came across or fretting about whether or not you hurt a relationship or feeling distracted and distressed about kind of like your social capital or your work capital, all of which is such a common experience. I can feel it just channeling it, just talking about it. I can get in that space. I know what that feels like. So what we're talking about is how do you build your internal support system? How do you strengthen that part of yourself that knows that you can trust yourself, that you've got what you need, that your inner faith is unshakable, that you can be strong and secure regardless of the circumstances around you, that you can feel sort of like relaxing into your own being, feeling comfortable in your own skin, feeling confident and capable, feeling sort of unshakable. And this isn't about like defying others. This isn't saying I'm going to, be damned with everyone else and screw my boss and, they're all wrong and I'm right. It's not sort of like a defiant standpoint. It's more of a self-reliant standpoint. We're talking about how do you cultivate this inner sense of calm, clarity, security. I like to think of it like the image I have is just like the stately tree, like being so strong in your leadership, so strong in your position, so calm and secure. It's like your roots are dug deep and it doesn't matter what's going on around you, right? If we use the tree metaphor, it doesn't matter if the wind's blowing. It doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if all hell's breaking loose. You are the tree. And you have that beautiful magnificence, that confident steadfastness that gives you even more calm. Does that resonate for you guys at all? Hi, Angelica. Hi, Mary Kate. Hi, Julie. Lovely to have you guys with me. So I'm going to share with you two different things. We're talking about how do you cultivate this inner sense of calm, this inner sense of clarity and awareness and sort of like a self-assuredness that propels and gives you even more calm and self-assuredness. So number one is what I like to call the chemistry of confidence. So if you haven't seen this research, I'll drop a link in the comments below of a TED Talk that you can watch. This woman named Amy Cuddy, a researcher at Harvard University, did this amazing TED Talk based on her research where she noticed in business school that those students who were very confident and always raised their hand and always knew the answers actually held themselves in a different way. Is this resonating for you? If you know this TED Talk already, drop me a note. And what she wondered, she and her co-researcher, was there something going on chemically, like neurochemically, biochemically, with those students that were displaying a sense of dominance and power in the classroom? And indeed, what they found was, just like in the natural world, where you see animals displaying dominance and power and supremacy, that humans can display the same type of poses in our world that also reflect sort of a social stature or a temporary condition where we're either more powerful or less powerful. We're more dominant or we're more recessive. And we demonstrate that physically by how we hold our body. And so she got really curious about this and studied that so when an animal or a victorious, say, athlete is championing, is dominant, is victorious, is powerful, there are certain ways that animal or person holds themselves. And the most classic style is they make themselves bigger. The more powerful the person or animal, the bigger they make themselves. And so in the animal world, you see animals that will tower over others, like by making their arms big above their head, or puffing up their chest, or, you can think of a peacock or other animals that will put on a huge display of dominance. They take up space. They are like a look at me posture. And when they are in that posture, there's a biochemistry that is also happening in their body that is supporting that dominance. So you have to watch the TED Talk if you're curious about this. They show how all of these athletes, regardless of, their nation of origin, their gender, their sport, there's sort of this common denominator that when somebody is really victorious, up go their hands, like in the letter V, like victory. And it's this absolute make themselves bigger, powerful, championing pose that takes up space, that has the chin lifted and sometimes the mouth slightly open. And it's like a yes, right? Now, when an athlete has just championed or was victorious, or a rock star is just absolutely nailing it on the center stage, or even fans in the audience that are watching their favorite performers do their thing, when they feel a surge of victory or like that positive, powerful feeling, they too will raise their arms in sort of like a reflected power pose. And what they found is that in those moments, the saliva of the people that are feeling that feeling and making those powerful poses shows increased testosterone and other dominant hormones. This even happens for congenitally blind people who have never seen that demonstration of victory. They too will demonstrate sort of like this upon blind at birth athletes who champion, who are victorious, who win, will also do this power pose. So really interesting, right? This is where like the natural world and the human world sort of intersect. So what they found was you could actually short circuit it and do it in the reverse. That if you don't feel powerful, you can adopt a power pose and adopt the chemical response that goes with that powerful pose to actually sort of short circuit your chemistry to have more power in the moment. Really interesting, right? So they talk about how, like, say in a job interview, when you might feel most exposed, most nervous, most worried about your performance, what are we naturally doing in the waiting room? we're sitting down, we're sort of crumpled up, we're collapsed, we're looking at our iPhones or our resumes, and that's a recessive, unpowerful pose. And that when people stand in that way and fold themselves in or touch their face or look down, the chemical response is for increase of cortisol or the stress hormone and for less power. So what this researcher suggested was, hey, if you're going to go into a public speech or a high stress performance or a meeting or a job interview, find a moment to be able to adopt these powerful poses so that you can circumnavigate the brain chemistry so that you pull that power into your body. Does that make sense? So she's like, even if you have to go find a bathroom stall, go do that. And inside the stall, do your power pose, right? Like fist pump and make yourself be big. Or you find a long corridor that you can walk down with and swing your arms. Like the whole idea is you take up space, that you act confident with your body, and that confident body pose will bring the chemistry that actually does lead to real brain confidence. Super interesting, right? So another powerful pose besides the V for victory is the Wonder Woman, where you stand with your fists firmly on your hips and your chest out and your chin up with a sense of confidence and fearlessness. So the Wonder Woman is also a power pose that you can adopt to give you that chemistry of confidence. Now, sometimes when people say, put your chin up or throw your shoulders back, that can be sort of uncomfortable or sort of artificial. But what really works for me is the idea that you take that space from like right where your bra strap is to your belly button and try to make it longer. And by doing that, you naturally do that expansive body posture that opens you up and that gives your brain the signal, oh, she must be feeling powerful. Let's let those testosterone, dopamine hormones, and neurotransmitters flow. So anything that you can do to adopt some powerful position can give you a quick hit of those hormones that will let you feel more confident, more powerful, more easy in your skin, more ready to take risks, more fearless, ready for a challenge. Pretty cool stuff. So that's the chemistry of confidence. But now let's talk about how you really want to architect this, not just in a moment, not just for that job interview or for the speech or for the meeting, but something that you want to nurture and grow so that you have this resilience that you can lean on at any point in your life. I'm talking about like on a daily basis, like on a Tuesday night after a hard day at work. How do you have your own back? How do you develop this resilience, this strength of character that lets you know you've got this, you are enough, you're okay, and that what other people think doesn't matter? Sometimes it can be hard to hold that sort of confidence. So I'm going to give you some tips and some techniques. You ready? You want to actually create something like a pillow for you to fall back on. You want to create something that you can reference like a tool because it's important. If you go out into the world and you feel like your confidence gets slayed, you feel bruised, your ego is hurt, you're down a peg, you want to create some backdrop that you can use actively to recover from those experiences. This is self-love. This is self-care. We're not talking about pedicures. We're not talking about massages. Those are all well and good. We're talking about something really core, like a practice that you do to help support you as a leader, as a woman that's out there in the world who sometimes suffers from confidence blows. We all do. So here we go. Number 1, create a hell yes journal. This is a page in your journal, a piece of butcher paper on the back of your bedroom door, something where you document every hell yes moment that you can recall. We're talking about something that could be like an affirmation that when you look at it, you think, yeah, Yes, I did do that. Yes, I am capable. Yes, I did nail that. Yes, I conquered in that moment in a positive, affirming way. I know I'm good. I know I did great. I got the raise. I got the title. I got the client. I got the win. I know that I am good. I know that I can do this. You want to put those things down, the fist pump moments of your life, because they are important for your brain chemistry. They're important for you to reflect on, to keep nurturing those experiences that you had that reassure you that your self-concept is solid. You with me? All right, let's keep going. You want to do other things, like multimedia things are very helpful to help create this resilience platform for you so that you feel like your inner badass is developing. I like to create a high-flying music playlist. I like to have music that I know when I hear that song come on, I feel like I want to crank up the volume, drive in a convertible with the top down, singing at the top of my lungs. I want those songs on a quick playlist so that when I'm ready, sometimes if I'm really down, that might not be the right energy. I might not be quite up to that energy, but it is something that can be sort of an external reminder of your higher resonant feeling that's so supporting. So get yourself a high-flying music playlist that helps, support that buoyant mood that you want to nurture in yourself for your badassery. You want a mantra. It's number 3. Get a mantra. Get something that you can say to yourself where if you feel exposed, if you feel criticized, if you feel wiggly and wobbly, you have something you can lean into that works for you. Now, at first, if your confidence is really low generally, it might be difficult to come up with like a huge Wonder Woman badass mantra. And that's not what we're asking. Just a slight step in the upward direction is helpful. Sometimes it can be, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. It can be that simple. If you want to go for it, you can build on that, like wherever your resonance leads you. Actually, I'll show you mine. I love my life and I love being me. And I'm really, really good. And everything that I want wants me. That's my mantra. That's kind of like the thing that I'll go back to. If I feel sort of a peg down, if I feel like maybe I didn't quite conquer the day, if I feel like I got some negative input from some external circumstances or situations that have me feeling low, I'll come back to something that feels so true and so reassuring that is me on me. This is not getting validation from some external circumstance or source. It's actually the validation that comes from, you know what? I actually really do like my life. And I get to be me. That's kind of cool. I geek out on that. Like, you all get to be you. And I'm really good. When I'm really good, I'm really good. I know these sound ridiculous, but sometimes mantras are very simple that way. So you want to find something that feels right and true and supports your deeply held belief that is positive. We all have beliefs that are a little bit tricky, that maybe we're working on to combust and overcome. Find the things that you know are really true, and breathe into those like the oxygen onto your little campfire. That's my little metaphor. You're putting little twigs on this campfire in your heart to build a glow from your inside out, because that's how you build your inner badass. It's not going from the outside in. It's not trying to go and conquer everybody and make yourself a winner in their eyes. You build it from the inside. That's the strong position. So we got the Hell Yes Journal. We got the High Flying Music playlist. We got your mantra. And then I like to say that you want to find a celebration sister. You want to find somebody in your network that can tell you, you got this. I even ask for it. I'll even ask for it. I'll call my friend and say, I need the version of you that tells me that I've got this. And she knows what I mean. That shorthand is like, I need a pep talk. And I don't just want external, simple, cheap inauthentic validation. I want somebody who sees me and knows me to say, I see you and you have what it takes. You've got this. So a celebration sister is a really, really powerful thing to have. We're talking about your inner badass, right? How you're building this campfire in your heart that is strong and warm and glows, and is the power that you build from your own self-concept, from your own knowing that you're good, from your own knowing that you're competent, from your own knowing that this life is yours to lead, that you have agency, and it doesn't matter what goes on out there. It matters that you tend to that small campfire, breathe oxygen into it, place the twigs of your high-flying music and your mantra and your celebration sister and all of the fuel that you can place on that fire. That's your inner badass. Not whether or not you get validation externally. It's what you build on the inside. Is this making sense for you? Now, sometimes it feels like, well, what? You just like positive self-talk all day? Like you just try to like trick your brain into thinking everything's good? And I say, yep, that's what you're doing. Because why not? If you could put the blinders on from the critics, the jerks, the naysayers, the saboteurs, those that will pull you down, those who will tell you, well, I don't know if you should try for that. That seems a little out of your reach. Or are you sure about that? What's the point? If you have a desire and if it makes you feel lit up to think about that desire, then think about that desire. This is your job. Confidence is an inside job. And I'm teaching you these techniques to be able to layer on whatever you need so that it is strong and growing and glowing. Are you guys reading me? You feel it? The last thing, which kind of is sort of like the Hell Yes Journal, is to cultivate some visceral memories when it really worked for you, okay? Like, I can remember moments in like junior high or college, long time ago, where I put all my eggs in a basket. I really put love and energy and attention and effort into that basket, and it worked, whatever that is, right? I got the job that I sought, or I was successful in a quest, or I overcame something that was a challenge, or good things came to me. I can still remember those moments because they're like these visceral memories, right? They're like a memory where you almost, if you really nurture it and get back in that space, you can almost get flooded with the feeling of euphoria, of victory, of excitement, of enchantment, of delight, of hell yes, right? And actually having a few of those has taught me, yes, I know what it's like to be in the zone, to be in flow, to be aligned. And when I remember that, I know that it's just around the corner that I can get back there again. That's the benefit of being mature, right? Like we've been around the block, we've done some things, and you want to harvest that now. You want to be like, yes, I am not an ingenue. I'm not this young thing that has no idea what her worth is in the world. I have achieved. I have created. I have manifested. I have maybe even conquered. I have drawn in. I have leveled up. I know that I know how to do this. And those are the visceral memories that you want alongside your Hell Yes Journal, right? They're kind of the same thing, but for me, sometimes the Hell Yes Journal is like accomplishments and awards, or, you know, they're milestones, but the visceral memory is almost like this sort of like feeling memory of a time in my life where everything was working out for me. And I like to have those. It's almost like it's my bag of gold. Those are the 5 things that I hold that give me my inner badass. Again, it's not about conquering everybody else. It's not making sure people like me and love me and think that I'm worthy and give me respect and, whatever it is that that could get validation from those places. That's not what it is. It's right in here. It's that solid, secure, uplifting, knowing, positive self-concept that I feed. Not to have a huge ego, not at all. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about so that I stand tall and I feel confident and calm and like I am my best friend. All right. So the goal for you is for you to take all of that back, all of the external circumstances, the things that you think matter, the things that we tend to feel like are the representations of achievement, and bring it back in so that you own it first for you. That you build the campfire in your heart of all the glowing goodness that you are, that you create, that you're capable of, that's your spirit. And you focus on the good. That is my lesson to you for how to create your inner badass. She's a positive creator that doesn't worry about the circumstances around her. She is focused on developing herself to be the best she can be, loving on herself, and it doesn't matter what happens externally because she's always got this. I would love to hear what other support systems you have. So after I post this, in the comments below, tell me what other things do you use in your life besides like high-flying music playlists or a visceral memory or a celebration sister. What do you use to help you develop that inner badass, that resourceful side of you that is the resilient one that you can trust when the chips are down? Thank you for joining me. It's been so great spending this time with you, and we'll see you again next time.